Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Fall Town Hall. This is going to be done in two parts. You're going to hear from me second. But first, we're going to have a presentation by Heidi Aronen and Lori Bruno that fills us in on our strategic plan 2030. And that'll be about 30 minutes. And then after that, I'll come right up, make my presentation, and we'll have lots of times for question and answer. So good to see everybody finally back in person. After 2.5 years. This is the first one we've been able to do live in over 2 years, so very, very gratified to see everybody here. So without further ado, let me turn it over to Heidi Aronen.
So let me see if this, no? Someone's gonna have to tell me, yeah, there we go. Okay, hang on. No. Help. Lori? I'm not getting to the front. Help. There we go. Okay. Okay. That way, yeah. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. I'm going to kick this off and bring you a little bit up to date to tell you sort of how this process started, which was, you know, in the before times, as it were. And we had a little pause as we were working on this, so that's why we wanted to sort of go back to the beginning. And then I'm going to turn it over to Lori Bruno, who will walk us through how we're moving our planning process forward. So what we're here to talk about a little bit is our campus-wide strategic planning. This is something that, I will move you to the first page. This is something that Dr. Riley identified even before he came onto campus as something he wanted to make sure that we did as an organization, that we would, he put in motion the idea before he came. We view this as something that's critical in setting our goals, in keeping ourselves accountable, in identifying how we're going to prioritize what we do and when. And we view this as something that we're setting up as what we're calling a living document, something that changes in time. We set our goals, and as we move forward and as we see how we're doing on the various pieces of it, some things may change, we may emphasize certain other areas, but it's a process that we want to use as a campus to all be on the same page about what it is we want to do and where we want to go. The idea of this was to start by looking at our institutional mission, vision, and values. And Lori Bruno, who's the Assistant Vice President at the Office of Planning, and I have been leading the process for the last several years. We began the process in the summer of 2018. We were setting up at the time a 5-year plan, and we identified a number of areas we wanted to look at in order to do that 5-year planning process. The 5 areas were clinical care. That committee was chaired by Drs. Deborah Reed and Tina Reha. Educational excellence, who were Drs. Nellie Bailey and Michael Joseph. Research and diversity, research and discovery, Dr. Jim Knowles. Downstate in the community was Alethea Lean, and organizational culture and transformation was Dr. Bridget Desport from the School of Health Professions. Each work group had about 20 people in it from across the campus. There were staff and faculty and students and staff on every committee, administrative staff, staff in the educational and clinical areas as well. Those committees met for more than a year, examining the issues they thought were important in their areas, trying to identify what they thought the goals and aspirations were of their areas. And then we held an off-campus retreat in 2019 that had, I don't know, 100 to 200 people there. The people who had been participating in the planning process, as well as a number of other people, both to talk about what they had identified as goals, and also to get input as to what people thought we needed to be thinking about going forward. After all that work, and a lot of feedback and a lot of back and forth, the groups came up with a plan, in which there were strategic goals, 15 strategic goals, 36 objectives within those goals, and more than 100 tactics on how to achieve those goals and objectives over time. They were split out into timeframes, what was going to be done in the short, mid, and long term. And the steering committee identified that phased-in approach. We began to develop dashboards on how we were going to manage it, how we were going to track it, how we were going to report on it. And we plan to kick off for March 2020. And then time stood still, and the planning process stopped, and the gathering stopped, and the meeting stopped, and everyone was very, very busy with what they were doing. And we put all of it on hold. And we delayed, obviously, the formal implementation of this process, but I will say that some of the things that were identified have moved forward as part of our day-to-day operations, and some have even accelerated. For example, distance learning, which was a priority that was identified in the educational group, suddenly became critical to implement overnight instead of over time. And lo and behold, we found that if we had to implement it overnight, we could implement it overnight. So it was a lesson in what you can achieve when the circumstances dictate. We moved things forward as we could, but not in a formalized way, not in a process-driven way, not in a we're gathering routinely to go over it, because everyone in this room knows everyone had their hands full with managing this place through a difficult time, and this had to be put aside for a period of time. Well, now we are, to some degree, back to normal, the new normal, the old normal, some version of normal, and we're starting again to focus in a organized and structured way on what we're looking ahead to do across the campus, and this covers all of our missions and all of our people, and how we will keep ourselves accountable for doing those things, and how we will keep each other informed on how we're progressing on those things. And the implementation of this, I'm going to call up, Lori Bruno to take over for me, to talk about how we're taking the process that we started in the before times and moving it forward in the way we're operating now. So that's it for me. I'm turning it over to Lori.
So we're very excited today to launch the next phase of the strategic plan, which is the implementation phase. Similar to when we were formulating our goals, we have recruited some folks to chair a steering committee for the implementation phase. And they are, for our 5 areas for clinical care, we have Dr. Jamila Youssef. For educational excellence, Dr. Jeffrey Putman. Research and discovery is Dr. David Christini. Downstate in the community, Alicia Goodridge. And organizational culture and transformation is Dawn Walker. Specifically, we've recruited them to help us develop the dashboards as we move into the 2nd and 3rd phases of implementation, as well as review our data and process measures related to each of the areas, and also to help us communicate both internally and externally with our stakeholders regarding the strategic plan. I am now going to ask each of our chairs, in the order that they're listed here, to come up. They're going to share with you the goals that correspond to their area, as well as some of the activity to date that Heidi had mentioned that has gone regardless of the pandemic coming and causing us to stop. So first is Dr. Youssef.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So I'm actually very thrilled to be here today to share the initiatives, accomplishments, and the vision on behalf of our UHD senior leadership team. Out of all of the work groups that we have, the most transformative has to be the clinical one. In a prior slide, Heidi had key vacancies that Dr. Riley needed to fill. And one of those key vacancies was appointing our new CEO, who is Dr. David Berger. And under Dr. Berger's leadership, we have built a very diverse and invigorated senior leadership team who are laser focused on achieving the strategic goals that are listed here. So first is achieving the highest ratings for quality of patient care and experiences throughout Brooklyn hospitals. Number 2, growing surgical volume by 6% within 3 years and enhancing other clinical programs. And number 3, improving clinical operational efficiency and effectiveness. I would like to share a video that our senior leadership team had developed in conjunction with frontline staff in order to achieve these strategic goals by embracing the principles of being a high reliable organization.
Our University Hospital at Downstate We Care journey strives for zero harm to our employees, patients, and community. The one constant is our dedicated staff who provide the best healthcare possible for all our patients. By valuing people and working together seamlessly, we become trusted partners with our patients and our healthcare teams to provide extraordinary care and ultimately improve our community's health. I fully support this great effort to create the environment we want here at University Hospital at Downstate.
I am thrilled to share at University Hospital, Downstate has begun a journey to improve the way we deliver care and prevent harm to our workforce, our patients, and our community. We want to make it easier for you to accomplish your work without serious accidents or bad outcomes. Our mission, vision, and values are essentially our why, our what, and our how. We spent several months asking you your why in order to create our mission. Our mission states, as the only health sciences university hospital in Brooklyn, we are devoted to achieving health equity in our communities through provision of outstanding patient care, research, and education. Our vision, or our what, is to be the best place to get care and the best place to give care. We accomplish this vision through our core values. We changed our core values acronym from I Care to We Care. This is because medicine has become so complex, we take care of our patients as teams, not individuals.
Next, we developed a strategic plan organized under 7 key drivers. Each of these 7 drivers has a specific goal and related objectives. Let me go through these for you. Number 1, workforce engagement. Number 2, service excellence. And number 3, quality and patient safety. Number 4, operational efficiency. Number 5, growth. And number 6, community. Finally, number 7, financial health.
Each and every one of you play an important part in achieving our mission, vision, and values and strategic goals. Please think about how you, your department, contribute to supporting and improving at least one of our 7 strategic drivers. We believe staff know best. In fact, let's listen to what the staff have to say.
I work to support strategic driver number 1, workforce engagement. By creating fun, interactive learning environments, we can involve our staff in shared governance and decision-making in order to improve patient outcomes, but also have fun and engage our team.
I help support driver number 2, service excellence. I welcome all that comes into the hospital.
And I support strategic driver number 3, quality and patient safety, by working to reduce patient falls.
I support driver number 4, operation, by working to improve bed turnover time.
I support driver number 4, operations, by working hard to help improve turnaround time for lab results.
As a Downstate Medical School graduate and the chair of the Department of Orthopedic Surgery and Rehabilitation Medicine for the past 20 years, I'm excited for our organization's new chapter and growth plans.
Dr. Urban and I are eager to help our department's talented physicians, staff, and team members touch more lives across the borough of Brooklyn.
As part of this strategic plan, The Department of Family and Community Medicine supports driver number 6 community and is committed to deliver the highest quality of care to the people of Brooklyn.
I support driver number 7, financial health, by reviewing outpatient claims to make sure they are correct, which allows us to bill the insurance company in a timely manner.
The We Care journey will allow us to thrive by engaging our patients and staff, while promoting a culture of safety through continuous learning and process improvement. Remember, there can be no quality without equity. We are welcoming to all.
At Downstate, we believe in health equity and collaboration.
At Downstate, we hold each other accountable.
At Downstate, we respect our patients, families, and community.
At Downstate, we strive for excellence.
At Downstate, the medical staff supports our We Care journey to zero patient harm.
Thank you. As you can see, under Dr. Berger's leadership, we're very passionate about creating a high reliable culture of safety. For each strategic driver that you see here, we have an executive sponsor, and each driver has its own tactics and KPIs. These drivers, along with their associated tactics, will allow us to achieve our goals of optimizing patient safety and enhancing our clinical efficiency. As you also heard in the video, we're undergoing a journey with Press Ganey to become a high reliable organization. We have developed core values embodied here as We Care values, and along with these We Care values, they're associated with behavioral expectations. We're rolling out a host of initiatives that include providing a leadership academy to our managers and clinical leaders. We're redesigning our process improvement, and that would also include Greenbelt training for selected staff. We're rolling out universal skills training, as well as daily visual management boards, huddle boards, and just fair and just culture policies as well. My last slide, I just wanted to highlight some of our surgical leaders for our marquee programs that we have here. We have a new chair of surgery, Dr. Panos Kougias, who's sitting in the center of the audience. Hi, Dr. Kougias. Thank you. Dr. Kougias comes with a wide breadth of experience and will be contributing to growing surgical programs here, including wound care. We have Dr. Roshan in the center, our chief of transplant. Dr. Roshan has done a phenomenal job in providing equity to our patients here in Brooklyn by allowing transplant procedures to happen here. She's hit the ground running and has done a really incredible job. And the newest member of our team is Dr. Bartholomew, our chief of neurosurgery. After many years, we are so excited to have a chief of neurosurgery back here at UHD, and we're looking forward to his contributions on the team. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jeff Putnam. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm here to discuss the educational excellence part of the strategic plan. So our goals through educational excellence are to achieve active learning excellence through access to a broad and distinctive range of clinical, practical, and research experiences for students, to engage in interprofessional learning activities that advance academic, clinical, and research excellence, and to expand Downstate's academic programs through innovation and strategic partnerships. As was brought up earlier, there are some of these goals that we've already made some achievements on that I wanted to highlight. For the first goal, we are currently in discussion to create pathway programs specifically focused on populations that are underrepresented in medicine, nursing, and the health professions. We are in program development with at least one, there's actually more than one that we were talking to, undergraduate SUNY campus to provide simulated patient services for our simulation center. And we're also in partnership with the Associated Medical Schools of New York to develop a new scholarship program. Actually, it's already been announced. It was announced here by AMSNY and our Commissioner of Health for the state of New York to continue to diversify the student body and provide for a more diverse New York State medical workforce. And that's a great program that AMSNY gets funding from New York State to help support students who come through our Bridges program and other programs. For our second goal, we have been working to identify the ways to improve the use of classroom space quality and availability in conjunction with classroom services and the master facility planning process that's being led by Ms. Aronen. And we're looking at all the spaces on our campus to see where the appropriate learning spaces can be and how we can improve them. And for goal 3, we have been continuing to work to strengthen our Bridges program to develop direct entry through potential partner institutions so that potential partner institutions can identify students who are ready for the study of medicine, but who do not yet have the academic qualifications to get into medical school, to help them build those qualifications and be ready to come into the College of Medicine, as well as technological infrastructure improvements in classrooms, which will allow for hybrid and high-flex instruction. We're very lucky that at the beginning of right before the pandemic, when the new public health academic building came online, that the classrooms in that building were already built to handle hybrid and high-flex instruction, but we are working to convert the classrooms in the other buildings so that they all can handle and be smart classrooms and enable us to provide better and more flexible programs for our students. So those are an update on the educational excellence goals. I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Christini for research and discovery. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. I have been at Downstate a little over 2 years, and every day here I am excited continually about the potential that we have in research. There's just so much opportunity here. I encourage you all to tune in to our quarterly newsletter. We go into great detail about everything we're doing. And if you can, attend our annual research forum in December. It's an hour or 2 hour long session where we talk about everything that's going on with research. With regard to the strategic plan, a lot of this was developed by, as Heidi mentioned, Dr. Jim Knowles and a committee. And then when I joined in June 2020, height of the pandemic, but also right at the kind of inflection point with regard to the social justice and health equity movement nationwide. And what we did at that time, together with a really active and outstanding group of students in the social justice and health equity work group through the College of Medicine that Dean Brunicardi put together, and under Carla Booten Foster's leadership, there was a research subcommittee. We had excellent students on that research subcommittee, and we really took a close look at the strategic planning initiatives that had been developed to that point through a health equity and social justice lens. And that, I think, really reflects itself well in the official version of the 2030 strategic plan. So here are the items that are in the strategic plan. So the first is to become a center of excellence in interprofessional translational research, with an emphasis on research that impacts the health and well-being of the communities that we serve, and which targets the elimination of health inequities. I think the last part of that sentence kind of emphasizes the point that I just made. I want to just point you back to the beginning of that sentence, the interprofessional translational research. There are so many opportunities at this university for activities between all of the colleges and schools. And we're really trying hard in our office to partner with the deans, the faculty, the staff, and the students in all the schools to try to build up research across the university. Expand and diversify Downstate's research infrastructure. That's something that we have, this is a short sentence, but there's so much wrapped up in that we're trying to do in the Research Foundation, under Sharon Seeley's leadership. I saw Sharon here, together with colleagues in my office, Dr. Marcus Lambert, Dr. Aisha Joshi. We've, I think, put together a really outstanding team to make really improvements here to build up the foundation to be able to enable research across the board. And create and sustain a research culture that drives discovery and innovation that is supportive of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we've made a lot of progress today. These are just 5 highlights. We have put together 4 new faculty research committees. We have a laboratory research committee, a human research Committee, a Clinical Trials Assessment Committee, and a High Performance Computing Committee. The membership of all these committees are listed on our website. You can go and see who they are. They are meeting monthly and advising our office in these areas. We've, as I hope you're aware, we've had annual seed grants. We've given out grants to host symposia to bring people together to discuss research and put together potential research partnerships. We had 3 symposia in the spring at the SUNY Global Center. We fund grant writing consultancy to help people develop grants. We've put together a biostatistics support system in partnership with SUNY Albany. And our office has worked really hard on trying to synthesize and help investigators develop larger institutional grants. Under Sharon Seeley's leadership, we've had a top-to-bottom restructuring of the Office of Research Administration with a client-focused goal of better enabling faculty to focus on their research. As I mentioned at the outset in my comments, our team meets regularly. Our team, as well as some key research faculty leaders, meet regularly with the students in the Social Justice and Health Equity Work Group to refocus research efforts that are related to DEI and community engagement. We are working with campus stakeholders in FM&D to upgrade laboratories using current resources and to develop plans for future modernizations of research spaces. I couldn't say enough about the FM&D team under James Minto's leadership. I saw John Sirachi and Ray McDavid here, and others I'm sure who I'm not seeing, who have been really fantastic in trying to work in a very old building and enabling us to do a really nice job to develop some nice spaces. So that's it. Just a couple of slides on research. There's a lot more than that. I encourage you to check out our website and to come to the research forum. And now downstate and community, I think that's Alicia. Here comes Alicia.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm one of the newest faces of this organization, and I'm happy to see everyone finally, some without masks. I started in December, and everyone was out on holiday, working from home, and I wanted to see a whole face, so good to see you. Gotta add a little humor to this. So as the new lead for this committee, I had the awesome opportunity to meet with Eileen, who shared what she experienced and was gracious enough to give me the history behind what was already set up and done for this goal. I am the new lead for government and community relations. Let me say that and how this all connects. If I haven't met you already, we will, because I need to meet everyone in this room, because you play a very important part in what I do. So our first goal for Downstate and the community is to improve community health outcomes through Downstate's urban health education, prevention, and clinical care. And coordinating of those efforts around Downstate's connections to community partners, including outreach, promotion, and publicity. So I come from another part of the state, so I work very grassroots, and that's what I did coming in, not even knowing about the strategic plan. And now my job is to take the grassroots initiatives and merge them and grow them into what this entire organization needs. And that leads us into something basic as building an email list. Once I confirm that an event is for public access, like the Transport Symposium, what Brooklyn Health Disparities, BHDC, I'm an acronym person, is doing in publicizing, I share with the community. That includes faith-based organizations, any of our elected officials on any level, because they use that information to say, hey, look what Downstate's doing. And then once they start doing that, we roll back in January and Dr. Riley and I start busting down doors. So it's all connected. I'm here to connect the silos, and this is one of them because we're a hidden secret right in the middle of Central Brooklyn. This goal also is directly connected to my awesome office mates, marketing, communications and marketing, that's led by Dawn Ski Walker. And you don't realize how much you're connected until something happens and you're like, oh, I need to share this. So what we do, if we're involved in an event, we learn something, I share with that team. And that is, to me, grassroots, but that's also publicity. Social media is the key right now. People use that more than anything. So also in that part of community partners, I included gun violence interrupters, increasing our CBO interaction, and increasing the access to faith-based organizations. In any movement, the church has always been the forefront. The most people, and you have the most access. And that's where they go when they're sick. Pray for me. While we're praying for you, we can connect you to downstate and do whatever it is, whatever need that is. Next, because I could keep going on and on that piece, but word of mouth is still the best connection. For strengthening communication with Downstate's community stakeholders, we creation and the upkeep of a detailed community partner listing that can support institution-wide outreach and create community engagement collaboration. Any of the work that I do cannot be done by myself. So, my best asset is patient education. The next is strategic planning. So Delphine and I have become besties. If you know who Delphine is, you understand. And an example of that activity is our involvement in the One Crown Heights Festival that happened a couple of months ago. Betty Jung and Dr. Marshall were busy, and myself and Ryan from her team hosted a table. Then we grabbed some volunteers who are our regular colleagues and said, are you available? And we represented Downstate. What I'm doing is bringing Downstate into rooms that they have not been in before. Those relationships, being the only hospital in a lot of rooms, and they're wondering, how did they get here? So I'm a relationship builder, and what my goal is to bring us to the forefront and allow us to have the visibility that we deserve because we are a staple here. And lastly, strengthening the alumni engagement, which begins with the discussion of key internal university stakeholders and alumni to determine ways to collaborate and share best practices. So as I meet my fellow colleagues, and one of the questions, where did you go to school? Or before I even can say it, they went to school here. So there is a return factor that we have to build on. And I'm gonna charge you all to help me in rebuilding this piece. What we do have as an asset is our new director, ED of Alumni Association of the College of Medicine, and we have started to build a relationship and just have light discussions on what that association is doing. And I think that's gonna just create the growth that we need and interaction we need from our alumni. They're everywhere. And I don't want them to be secret agents. I need you to come back. I need you to invest. I need you to sponsor M1, M2, M3. I'm learning all the little codes. And make that, that connection grow. And last but not least, that's not there, is the reactivation of the Community Advisory Board. Again, that needs to allow us to increase and expand what we're doing and expand that board. And that list of individuals will include individuals in the education area. So our District 17, I've already spoken to the superintendent, and schools have already been calling, and how we can work together. I already have that groundwork being done by the Arthur Ashe Institute, Theo, the STAR program. They're already out there. So I just need to make those connections. And also increasing the Community Advisory Board by adding more CBOs and Community Board healthcare chairs, because they are the extension of the at-large community. So more visibility and more people in the room. Prior, they were more, it was faith-based heavy, and we need to balance that. So that's the goal coming up in the future. And also, hopefully, to borrow some of the existing CAB members. For instance, Dr. Claire informed me that Caribbean Women's Health Association is on her board. Can we borrow them as well as we grow this out? So not to overlap, but to connect the silos so we can continue to grow this effort. And that's where we are right now. Overall, thank you very much. I forgot to click. Everything I said was on the second page. Sorry.
So Dawn Walker isn't here today. She sends her regrets. So I'm just going to go through her slides quickly that correspond with organizational culture and transformation. The 3 goals related to this area are: 1, ensure a healthy and equitable organizational culture grounded in values that reflect the concerns and aspirations of Downstate's people and those they serve. 2, implement operational processes that enhance efficiency, strengthen fiscal health, and enable academic, clinical, and research excellence. Number 3, promote a culture of faculty, staff, and student development and advancement. And some of the activity to date around organizational culture and transformation include certainly Dawn's team was key in the launch of the new brand identity that is now almost a year in for Downstate, with the new logo, the new coloring, website, the renaming of the institution, the clinical sites. Number 2, there's a number of mechanisms that acknowledge contributions and efforts of others. University Hospital has their Thankful Thursdays, where both internal and external folks can call out someone who they're thankful for. There's similar avenue in the President's Bulletin to acknowledge people. There's a new announcements website feature, and there's also a new planned employee recognition effort that will be rolled out shortly. Number 3, the hospital and Optum, a consultant, are in partnership on a number of improvements, 2 of which include integrating a workforce productivity program and reducing excess patient length of stay. And number 4, the institution is investing in a number of media outlet honors, awards, seminars, advertising opportunities with Cranes and City and State and the like, to grow both the institution's footprint and to develop a go-to reputation for Downstate, so that when they need a quote or some information, they'll call on Downstate for that information. So now I'm going to talk just briefly a little bit more about the implementation phasing. As we had mentioned at the beginning, there are 15 strategic goals with 36 corresponding objectives. So that's a lot to do. So we've broken it down into 3 phases. The first phase being the first 6 months. Phase 2 is 12 plus months. Phase 3 is 18 plus months. And you can see here in the grid as to where the various objectives and goals fall out in the phasing. And the phase, I just want to point out, indicates when the work will start, not how long it will take. Some of these things, even if they begin in phase 1, will continue in the phase 2 and phase 3. We tried to put sort of the low-hanging fruit in phase 1, and certainly phase 3 are the more complicated goals that may need steps before to get us there. And as everyone has said, many of these initiatives are already underway to some extent. So measurement. Measurement is key for any strategic plan. It tells you where you are, where you need to get to, how you're doing, and part of that is data collection. So those 36 objectives that I mentioned all have an owner who we plan to work with to work out targets, as well as report out data regularly so that we can track our progress as we move along. And to display how we're doing, we're going to utilize dashboards, which can visually convey in a quick way where we are and where we're going with our targets. And we will share the dashboards on a regular basis so that people can understand where we are. This is just a short dashboard example so you can get a feel for how it looks. This is under the educational excellence goal. And it's for goal 1, objective 1, and it shows some of our tactics. What we plan to do is use this green, yellow, red system. So again, someone can look at it quickly and understand where we are. The green meaning something's underway or some work has been done to date. Yellow is maybe something was started and stopped. Red may depend on one of these other tactics to be finished before it, or work may not have started. So you'll see here, like the red tactics depend on the one that's currently yellow. So we just thought this would be a good way. People can see quickly and understand where we are. Certainly as we set targets as well, we will integrate green, yellow, red as well to know how close we are to hitting our target, which will also correspond. We'll have progress as well as where we are in hitting our target. And communicating. How are we communicating Impact 2030? Today is the start of sort of getting the word out for those of you who haven't been involved with some of the previous steps of developing the plan. So this is internal distribution. We are certainly going to reach out to our external stakeholders as well. The Impact 2030 web page is now live. Please visit it. We will update it regularly. You can find a downloadable version of the strategic plan there, as well as a flipbook version, so you can read it online as you would a digital magazine. Also there, you can find a PDF executive summary, which is 2 pages. So if you want the Cliff Notes version of the larger plan, find it there, as well as there's background that we've shared today, and other information for those who have been involved and how we developed the process. Similar to this, there'll be other progress updates to the campus, if it's an in-person meeting, if it's through the President's Bulletin, various avenues. Certainly, like I said, there'll be dashboard reporting, which will be more of an internal process that we're working out, but we'll share those so people can see where we are with all the various goals. We plan to do an annual report to Dr. Riley and his leadership team and do an update that corresponds. It's very important that as we move through the plan, we don't wait to 2030 to look back to the work we've done. So an annual report will keep us on track. And we've also established an Impact 2030 downstate web address. So if you have questions, you want to know anything about it, drop us a line, and we'll get back to you. So I just want to say thank you to all of you here today. I also want to thank my staff, Nancy Victor and Wolf Lacassier, who are in the back, who are greeting people, handing out plans. But I also want to thank, as you can tell from the process, there have been many people involved thus far and will continue to be. It's really a whole campus strategic planning effort. We thank everyone for their commitment, their time, their energy, their thoughtfulness, and we hope you will continue to do so as we move forward. Thank you.
Afternoon again. First of all, I want to salute the outstanding work of the Impact 2030 group led by Heidi. Heidi's done a great job ever since I sort of gave her a Rorschach test, how I thought this should work. So let's give Ms. Aronin and Lori Bruno and the respective chairs. This is exactly what I wanted out of a strategic planning process. It can't be, top down from me. It has to be all of us working together to advance this great university. So very pleased with Impact 30. So thank you for all the great work. Well, now it's my turn. You got to hear from me now about several things, some of which will be sort of good news, and then as in life, you do have some not so good news, but it's my job to always be transparent and informative about things that we're working on and challenges that we have as a community, so that we all can embrace the moment. Let's see. Is this connected, Isaiah? Yeah. The first thing I want to start off with is, this has been 2.5 years since we were all together. I can't thank all of you enough for what you have endured, both personally, professionally, over the last 2.5 years. No one could have predicted what we've all had to deal with on an individual level, on a group level, it's just et cetera. So again, I always say that the two words we don't say enough around here are thank you. And so thank you for all the great work that you've been doing.
Just pointing at the computer.
Oh, okay, got to point at the computer. So I'm wandering too much, right, Isaiah? Is that what it is? Okay. Your boss likes to wander. Yeah, here we go. So this is the thank you slide in all the various languages. I love this. So that's, again, thank you for everything you've been doing over the past 2.5 years, and thank you what you continue to do for all of our patients, our community, our students, our faculty, our staff, our community, our nation, our world, if you will. So thank you. There we go. So this is sort of a tickle list of things I wanted to talk to you about. The agenda. I'll give you a little briefing about the healthcare worker bonus. Many of you have been inquiring about that. We'll give you a quick update on the branding. I think the new branding has been spectacular. Look at this. I don't miss the old bridge thing, do you? I don't miss it at all. Look how nice that looks. And so we're going to continue to push that out further. But I just think it better reflects who we are as a university, as a patient caregivers, as teachers, as contributing community to Brooklyn and New York. So very pleased with so far the work of the branding. Then we'll talk about facilities, personnel, student affairs, IT, a little bit of the hospital update, although you got a great preview and great video by Dr. Youssef in terms of what she laid out, in terms of what Dr. Berger and the whole team there have been doing to advance UHD. Very pleased with where we are there. We're going to talk about a loss of some parking. That's the painful part, guys. Next is Project Phoenix, where we are with that. That's our big project we're working with the foundation on. And then, of course, a little bit on my advocacy always for downstate in the hospital, and then I'll be happy to take as many questions as possible. Let's see, there we go. The first thing is, many of you have been wondering about the healthcare worker bonus. Remember, this is something I have supported from day one, but it was nothing I could do legally to do it, because under state law, only the governor or the legislature can provide bonuses or extra compensation to state employees such as you. So finally, Governor Hochul signed it in the last legislative session that ended up last spring, this healthcare worker bonus program. And again, it's an effort by the state to recognize all of the great work that the frontline healthcare professionals endured during the worst phase of the pandemic, as we all remember, that spring of 2020, by giving some bonus payments based on clear eligibility criteria. Now, we don't write the criteria. This is the way the bill was written, and the governor signed it. And again, these payments are solely based on the vesting periods. And the vesting periods are defined as, Jamie Greco, our Senior Associate Vice President for, where's Jamie? I saw him somewhere. Over here, there. In terms of if you work between X and Y, right, Jamie? Then you're eligible for this worker bonus, correct?
Yes, if you have a certain amount of 20 hours or two different groups around 20 or 40, give or take, then you qualify.
Great, good. So again, we have to follow the rules under the state law about how to implement this. So the payments have been submitted, and in fact, we're told that some employees have already received a payment for the first vesting period in last week's payroll, and that there'll be, the vesting period 2 will be on the November 9th payroll. Is that right? So the next payroll. So you should see some of that, and we understand some of you either have not been paid or have been omitted. HR is working to rectify any discrepancies, but please know we fully support this program. We want it implemented as best as possible. A little bit on the branding again. Again, you know, this is, you know, when I got here in 2017, you know, everybody was unhappy about the website. We didn't have really a good, we didn't have hardly any marketing and communications efforts in a coherent way. And again, we started to build a sort of an apparatus and expertise inside the university to do this. And again, when I kept looking at the logo, I said, I don't get Downstate looking at this logo, you know, a bridge. Although the Brooklyn Bridge is iconic and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So we hired a firm to help us come up with a new logo. So this firm came up with this wonderful, you know, new logo that, again, it was an iterative process. It wasn't Riley sitting in his office doodling. You know, it was engaged with all of you to try to get what symbols could we put into our new logo that would tell our story better, that would tell the greatness of what Downstate's been doing for years and years. And so again, I think the students have embraced it. We're rolling out more aspects of the logo here. You know, we've got the swag. You know, I made sure that the bookstore have all the swag and the hoodies because, again, that's what the students want. We want to show pride in our university, the key change, and everything. So very pleased with where we are. But wait, there's more. We still have to do more. That's the swag. And, you know, I'm very meticulous about the seal thing. Thank God the seals are up. They're getting up. Not fast enough in some point, but we're working on it. But again, this is the type of thing that would build continuity and connectivity within your institution when you have great branding. And so I think we've done a tremendous job at our branding. Now, again, if I could get up on a ladder and change those signs myself, Dr. Gwynn and Mr. Minto have begged me not to, and I told them I will come on a Saturday and do it when nobody's around, but they don't want me to do that. So this is the way we want it to look, you know, soon, okay? Soon, not fast enough for Riley, but soon. Because we know we have to carry on this stuff into the external parts of the building. And look how nice that will look when it's finally there. So believe you me, every time I pass up and down Clarkson, I say I want to go up there and take that stuff down, but they won't let me. Again, you know, we're going to change the glass etching over as you come into the fab. So believe you me, everywhere where we can do it, we will to replace the old logo that's been around for so long. You may have noticed driving up and down, what is that blocking? Yes, Linden. We have some banners up on the light post. Again, another effort to raise our profile in the community that I think is very important and sets the tone. We are an institution that is committed to our neighborhood, committed to Brooklyn, and we want to show the pride that we have in our neighborhood and in our community of learners and teachers and servers of patients and communities. So again, you know, we're going to keep doing more of this type of stuff going forward. You may have even noticed the MTA boards. Again, I don't think Downstate's ever done these types of things. But again, this is the way you build profile in the community. So again, this is still early. I would not say it's mature, in terms of our branding, but it is off to a great start, so I'm very pleased with that. Now, let's go to facility update. Along the lines of the branding, you know, we want to try to upgrade facilities as much. This is the old entrance to 395, and Mr. Minto will tell you I've been dysthymic about this for years too, because in the winter, when you open, every time the sliding doors open, it just lets out warm air and cold air comes in, so it's terribly energy inefficient, it's not sustainable, it's not green, and you know, it's just blah, right? I don't want a blah entrance to our institution. So this is what is happening now. This should have been finished October 1st, right, James? But we had some issues in terms of some machining parts being not done properly. But this is the way it's going to look with the revolver door. Much cleaner look, much nicer presentation when you walk in, more energy efficient. And again, these are the types of things we're doing. You may have noticed I had these big planters taken out. Those were put there right after 9/11. We've gotten those removed. We're going to put bollards, as I recall, James, right? We're going to put some bollards along here, which again will prevent somebody from driving into the entrance. We know this is New York. You have to anticipate people driving onto sidewalks, I know. But we're gonna fix that. It's not in the picture, but believe you me, we're gonna add the safety bollards here. But look how much nicer that entrance will be after it's finished. So the projected timeline is maybe after Thanksgiving, you think? Hopefully before. Hopefully before. So just let me know when I can get my big scissors, you know, to do the ribbon cutting. Have scissors will travel, James. So again, this is coming soon. The other big project. Every SUNY official who has visited us since I became president, they always lean over to me and they say, Riley, you got to do something about your cafeteria. I said, well, you got to help me. So the two chancellors have told me that, the vice chancellor for facilities, and so I guess about 2.5 years ago, we retained a firm to come in, look at the cafeteria. They surveyed all of you, surveyed the students, and so we are just about ready to kick off a, what, $26 million? Is it $28 million renovation of the cafeteria. And look, the cafeteria space is important for all of us on a daily basis. It's not just to get your cup of coffee, but to sit down, have a conversation with a colleague. Students would have more space to study, as you'll see shortly. So the way it's going to be sort of an add-on outward into the driveway of the new cafeteria space, an extension. It'll have a nice rounded kind of character. We're going to do something to pretty up this security box too here. But you can see how we gained some space. Where's the chief? Is the chief here? I don't think he knows that yet, but we'll tell him. But you can see how it's just going to be a much nicer presence as you come down the block there. Unfortunately, I did want to have 2 stories, but that had to be cut out due to cost. My intention was to have 2 stories or to build shelf space up here, but because of cost, we had to leave that. Did we still engineer it for foundation-wise? Yes, good. So in other words, we built the foundation in order for, you know, future years to go up again and create more capacity. So again, that's very forward facility planning. This is the way the cafeteria we hope will look, and we've had interior designers working with us. We picked out the furniture, carpet, everything, James, right? We've had a long process. It's really going to be really nice open spaces, well sunlit with these windows. Remember the other issue we have with our current cafeteria, you have the loading dock vista, as I call it, and then you got no vista. So now we're going to have vista sort of at least on three sides. You'll have a more food court type feel to it. These are all the fit and finishes and everything. We picked out the acoustic tile, the wall paint, the epoxy, the laminate, the columns, the accent walls, etc. So it's going to be a much, much nicer facility for us to walk through, to spend time, not only just to eat, but to sit, collaborate, meet, etc. And this is what I envisioned for the campus. So you can see this is sort of the current footprint, and this is the extension that moves a whole lot of seating capacity out into that sort of extension. but I think it's just going to be a wonderful morale booster for the whole campus. This is the servery. There's going to be more servery stations, more consistent with other sort of university-type settings or hospital settings. So again, I just think it's just going to be wonderful. Here's the furniture plan, really nice, clean, modern furniture to make it very functional. You can move the furniture around. Again, areas to sit, to study, to work will be all through the cafeteria project. This area is flexible event space, so you can move these tables out and have receptions and dinners. So again, we tried to, envision how could we use this space other than just eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So for evening events, we'll be able to use the space very nicely. For lectures, for lectures or presentations or symposia, we could set it up in this classroom configuration. Again, giving more education and teaching space to the campus. There'll be a nice large room for meetings. We're very short on meeting space here. We're around a large table, so this will be a welcome addition. And so this is the timeline. We got the notice to receive just last week, right? So once you get that, that means it's been through the state contracting process. All the lawyers have reviewed it. SUNY Central has reviewed it, right, James? So the kickoff meeting is today. Oh, did it happen already? Or,
They had the meeting this morning.
oh, how did I miss that? You didn't tell me. Purposefully, I know. He didn't want me there, I know. Because my first question would have been what, James? When's it done? Right? Well, we think it'll be done by 2025. Now, again, this has to be done in stages. We're going to have to bring in a portable kitchen. Tell us how we're going to stage this.
It'll
Yeah.
be done in stages. We don't want to interrupt the servery completely, so it'll be different phases. You won't see any of the servery impact until sometime in early 24. There's a lot of infrastructure work that has to be done, cooling, HVAC, all that's incorporated.
Right. So again, we're finally there. It's going to start. It's going to start, friends. So again, this is just going to be a fantastic addition to the campus. So please be patient. The price of progress is some little bit of inconvenience, but in the end, you're just going to love what we've done with this. Again, a significant impact to the community. Now, another initiative we have to become more sustainable, more green, is to add as many of these hydration stations around the campus as possible. And as a result, we've canceled that contract with the bottle service. Everywhere I've been on the university campus, I see these bottles lined up against the walls. Where's Dr. Gwynn? Did we add up how much money we've spent on water over the last 10 years? You don't want to know, right? Yeah. It's not insignificant. So, but these units, we have, what, 4 now?
We have about
Four now, but we're going to have another 20.
Another 20 is coming tomorrow.
Right. Right. So we're going to have a vigorous program to have these state-of-the-art water stations, and they cool, filter water. They're environmentally friendly. They're more sustainable. The students love them. The students have been hammering us about we got to be more green, more sustainable. So again, these are going to be a welcome addition to the campus. So stay tuned for 20 additional, and we'll probably do even more on top of that. But I want to get these 25 programmed as soon as possible. So again, all the reviews on these have been very, very positive from our community members who've used it. Personnel update. Let me start with the retirement of one of my distinguished predecessors, Dr. John LaRosa. John retired August 31st, I believe, after many years of service at Downstate. I've known Dr. LaRosa since probably the mid to late 80s when he was chancellor at Tulane. He and Judith, his wife, and my mom and dad were good friends. My father was on the clinical faculty at Tulane, was on the Chancellor's Council with Dr. LaRosa. But what a great man that he and great couple that both Judith and John were for this institution, and both of them retired. I have a deep affection for both of them. This is when we unveiled his portrait a few years back. Just a wonderful man who his presence will be missed, but his contributions to Downstate will have been significant. Judy, I asked Judy to serve as interim dean of the School of Public Health when I got here, and she protested and said no and huffed and puffed, but she did it, and she did a wonderful job in anticipation of our new dean arriving. So Judy has always done amazing work for the institutions. She, a distinguished service professor in her own right in the School of Public Health, has mentored scores of public health students all over New York. Just a wonderful couple. So let's give them a round of applause in the center. Another picture when we unveiled this portrait. Now, again, because of the pandemic, we've had a lot of new people show up here that we've recruited that many of you have not met. So we talked about the LaRosas. Where's Dr. Stewart? Dean Stewart. Mark, stand up. Mark stepped down as Dean of the Graduate School at the end of June. Let's give Dean Stewart Thank you, Mark, for your service to Downstate as Dean of the Graduate School and many other roles. Dr. David Berger. David, stand up. Some of you don't know Dr. Berger. Dr. Berger was recruited back here because he did surgical training in the med school here, and he's doing a wonderful job at as our hospital CEO. I snuck into Manhattan and got a terrific vice president for research, Dr. Christini. Please stand. I used to have a lot of friends at Weill Cornell. They're not so happy with me now. Because not only did I get Dr. Christini, I got Dr. Lambert. Where's Dr. Lambert? Dr. Lambert, stand up. Dr. Lambert is Associate Vice President for Research, Strategy, and Operations. And I also should mention Dr. Christini is now the interim dean of the graduate school, filling in for Dr. Stewart. So thank you for handling both of those roles. But two outstanding scientists who are helping to drive improvements in our research infrastructure, more grants, more collaboration amongst and between all schools and colleges of the university. So I couldn't be more thrilled with the tremendous work of Dr. Christini, working with the Research Foundation, Sharon, the SUNY Albany, other SUNY institutions, other institutions in New York. So thank you, David and Marcus, for joining our wonderful community. Lynn Reed McQueen retired as our university counsel. She's not here. How long was Lynn at Downstate? 34 years, amazing. And so she just stepped down. And then as a result of Lynn, she's still with us part-time, but safely ensconced in Portland, Oregon, where she has a lovely condo now with her family. But as a result, Will Versfeld will stand up as the interim university counsel. Will, how long have you been here? 8 years, so he's a relative newbie compared to Lynn, but 8 years is a lot, because I can tell you there's a lot going on in legal affairs on any daily basis. So thank you, Will, for your leadership and service. Renee Poncet, our terrific former vice president for audit and compliance, retired last, let's see, I think it was right in 2021 after, I think she was here 20 plus years, right? And as a result, we now have a wonderful new vice president for audit and compliance, Shoshana Milstein. Shoshana, stand up. Now, Shoshana, I'm gonna embarrass you. How many years have you been at Downstate? 23 years. She started in kindergarten. She was one of those little kids pushing the medical record charts, right? I tease her all the time about that, but boy, she runs a great shop. So the audit and compliance group is just doing wonders. Again, great leadership under Renee and continued great leadership under Shoshana. So thank you so much for what you do. We also went outside of New York to get a terrific new Vice President for Information and CIO, Dennis Sutterfield. Where's Dennis? Dennis, there you are. Dennis. I slipped into Philadelphia, and we got him from Temple University Health System. So it's a very highly regarded system there in Philly that I used to have friends there too, by the way. But Dennis, thank you for joining us. A great background, not only in hospital IT, but university IT. We needed someone who understands the IT needs of both parts of the university, so thank you. Jamie Greco. Jamie, we just heard from Jamie. Please stand. Jamie is our our Senior Associate Vice President for HR. And, you know, look, I'm objective about Downstate. HR has been one of those headaches I've had from day one. And when I've talked to prior presidents, they had issues with HR too, but we're making progress. And Jamie's brought in some new approaches. We're trying to do some new technology, be more customer service oriented, which is something very important to me as an administrator, that we think about our end user, our customers, our colleagues, our departments, our divisions, et cetera. So Jamie, thank you for that. Carla Buten-Foster, who is one of our legends here. Where's Carla? Oh, there you are. Stand up, Carla. Carla is now, in addition to being a Downstate graduate and a physician extraordinaire and several other titles I won't go into now, she's also going to lead our Office of Institutional Equity, which is a new office that we created that kind of rolls up all of our efforts in terms of diversity, equity, et cetera, et cetera. So thank you, Carla, for your continued leadership. You heard from Alicia Goodrich. Where's Alicia? Oh, there she is. Alicia used to be a chief of staff to a member of the New York State Assembly, so she brings a deep background. Also, she was in corporate America, extensive work in banking as a research reference specialist. So she understands corporate life and also government. So again, we're very pleased with the great work you're doing, so thank you. And then where's Keisha Lightbourne? Keisha, there she is, Keisha. Keisha, in some respects, is sort of like a utility baseball player. Wherever you put her, first base, second base, third base, she can do it. She can run, hit, pitch. She does fantastic, any role, and we've asked her to serve as our interim Chief Diversity Officer. So again, you know, the most important asset we have, colleagues, is the people. It isn't the buildings, it's the people. And so I think you get a sense of how we have been intentional about attracting good people to join us here at Downstate. And there's two others I forgot to put, Lee and Carlos. Stand up. I'm sorry, Lee Rose and Carlos? Yeah. I'm sorry, when you do these slides late at night sometime, you forget, but these two fine gentlemen are working on our real estate projects. They do a terrific job, and you're going to hear about Project Phoenix shortly. They're kind of the lead in terms of working, try to figure this out with the developers. So thank you, gentlemen, for joining us as well. So again, people are important. So I feel very proud about where we are with people. Oops, let's see, what did I do here, Isaiah? Yeah, there we go. Nope, I'm going backwards. Let's see. All right, student affairs. All right, let's get a quick update on our student affairs. That's why we exist. We are the largest SUNY medical school. We're the largest medical school in all of New York City and the second largest in all of New York State. This is 2021 figures from AAMC. Sometimes we forget that. And you know, when I'm at those fancy cocktail parties in Manhattan, and you know, I'm chairman of the board of New York Academy of Medicine, and they have all these big shots from these other Manhattan places, and I just casually say, well, you know, my institution has the largest medical school by enrollment in all of New York City. So you can best believe I'm not bashful about strategically using that. They may be more because they got more revenue and more research grants, but we got more butts in the seat studying medicine than any other New York City medical school. So again, sometimes we forget this. So that's why I wanted to show you this. And then if you look at the other medical schools, the only one bigger than us is New York Medical College, but they're in Westchester. They're not in New York City. And that's the Valhalla campus. Nice folks up there. But we are way bigger in terms of enrollment than some of the other, you know, sort of fancier places that you hear about. So again, this is something you should, you know, share. You know, when you're at the gym and, you know, the hairdresser getting your nails done, you know, you're at the synagogue on Friday night, you know, just drop that into conversations. Don't be bashful. You know, that's what I do. You're very proud of this. So again, this is us. This is us, guys. Let's see. The other thing, did we do this one? Yeah, this is the enrollment one. So let's go this way. Now, in terms of African American students, we have the largest enrollment of African American and the largest enrollment of Hispanic Latino students, which again, this is something that the SUNY board was very unhappy about when they were recruiting me to the presidency here, because they just didn't understand. You're, downstate's in Brooklyn. Why isn't it more diverse? Well, we've done some things to change that, and so very proud that we are much more diverse, and we outpace, our other SUNY, friends. I have to play nice in the sandbox with them, so I will. But again, very proud of this fact as well. Graduates. Now, this is just folks who come across the stage every May. So in 2022, we had 189 graduates. So we put more MDs into the world than any other SUNY school. And we put the second number of MDs of any New York City medical school, any New York medical school. So again, these are facts. These aren't opinions, colleagues. These are facts. This is what we do. This is what you do. This is what we all contribute to in terms of the workforce and physicians of New York. We're the 27th largest medical school in the entire United States of America. Think about that. There's about 155 medical schools. We are the 27th largest out of 155. So again, something you all should be proud of. This is the graduates in terms of the number of MD graduates who are African American and Latino. Again, progress. I want more. We're doing better in terms of that. You're going to see that. Now, let's talk about the other schools, because the other thing when I'm at these cocktail parties in Manhattan, I said, no, I'm just not a medical school. We have a great nursing school. Where's our dean? Dean, stand up. The dean of the nursing school, Lori Escalier. We have a terrific nursing school, and I slipped into Stony Brook to get her. We got her away from Stony Brook to come to Downstate. You've done a terrific job, Dean. Thank you. But again, growing nursing was one of the things I said, Dean, go out and grow it thoughtfully, methodically, where it made sense, improve nursing. Nursing, this is the grand age of nursing. There's a nursing shortage everywhere. And so again, I'm very proud of the fact that our nursing school, 76% yield rate, 324 accepted applicants to our nursing school. If we had more faculty and more space, we could do more, right, Dean? That's always the rate limiting step in terms of nursing education. So again, nursing is going gangbusters. Dean, where's the Dean of School of Public Health? Dr. Demise, is he here? Yes, Dean Demise. As you can tell, I travel a lot. I got him out of Rutgers. Great job, Dean. And again, the School of Public Health is growing like crazy in terms of new programs and applications and acceptances. We're about to start a new MHA program, Masters in Health Administration program. We started a new MPH in Healthcare Administration, is right? Health Systems Administration. What do we call it, Dean? Yes. Excellent. And we're going to be teaching that in Manhattan, in part. We're going to be on 42nd Street. We've gotten some space in the SUNY Optometry building to do that. So yes, we're slipping into Manhattan. Yes, see, just don't tell my friends there. But yes, because remember, I said, look, Downstate's portable. We're not defined by, the bridges or the hedges. When and where it makes sense for Downstate to be from an educational service or training, we will be. And so we're going to be doing our first foray into Manhattan with the School of Public Health. School of Health Professional, where's Dean Lewis? Dean Lewis, stand up. Great job, Dean. School of Health Professions, as you know, does our PA program, occupational therapy, physical therapy, midwifery, health informatics. Our healthcare informatics program is nationally ranked. Master's degree program. Well, how much do those kids make when they finish the master's degree? Isn't that amazing? I mean, $110,000, $120,000 a year they make after finishing our program here. Yeah, our master's level program in informatics. So again, great strength in our health professions. School of Graduate Studies, again, under Dean Stewart's, and then now handed off to Dr. Christini. We're going to continue to look at strengthening and increasing the enrollment there with partnerships with other SUNY schools, other schools. So again, very gratified. So again, our enrollment is strong. We could probably grow all these programs if it wasn't for accreditation issues Matter of fact, the LCME says, where's, Jason, what does the LCME say? Vice Dean of the College of Medicine, they said we can't accept more than what? Our total enrollment cap for medicine. 820. Okay, so, left to Riley, we'd be 920. But we get in trouble, right? So I got to listen to my deans. Dean Brunicardi, stand up. Let's give Dean Brunicardi a hand. Yeah. We had the best LCME site visit in the history of downstate, led by this man, and I slipped into Ohio to get him. I flew to Detroit. Remember that? I flew to Detroit. I got a suite. I got a big suite at this casino, and I had the food brought up, and he drove in from Toledo, and he doesn't drink, but I do. And we had dinner, and I worked on him for 3 hours to come be the dean, and it worked. Chuck trained here in surgery, and it was sort of a homecoming. So thank you, Dean, for the great leadership of our College of Medicine, getting us through the tremendous LCB visit. So again, just great. I just love our educational environment and what we're doing. So more to come. This is just more numbers. The key message on this, colleagues, our educational enterprise is thriving. Now, IT, for our clinicians, I see a lot of white coats out there. The other thing I wish I could do, other than going up there and changing the signs, I wish I could rip out our electronic health record and put in Epic. Now, I don't look good in lateral pinstripes. That means it'd be against the law. So we have to go through this procurement process and this, so this is what we're doing. So this is Allscripts is our current electronic health record. They've been bought out by Oracle or Cerner? Who bought them out? No, who? Harris, okay. The quality, the customer service is horrible. It's not an easy electronic health record. And many of our faculty walk across the street to Kings County and they have Epic, right? Yes. So you guys know Epic, and Epic is kind of where everybody wants to be. So we have to go through a whole lot of machinations to change this. The other part of this too, Sean Smith, is our revenue cycle. When we see a patient, we got to generate a bill and get that bill paid, right? We have some difficulty, Sean, with our rev cycle software, Eagle, that we're not on the Flintstones version, right? We're a little bit beyond that. A little bit beyond that, but Eagle is an old billing system. But you can't buy a different billing system until you kind of know what your EHR is, because they got to be able to talk to each other. So you can see how complicated this is. So we're now in this 11-month window to do all the procurement gauntlet that the great state of New York lays on us. Very frustrating, needless to say, but we're going to work through it. So again, this is on our radar. I want the clinicians to hear this, that this is a top priority, is to try to figure out how to get us a better electronic health record platform for you to take care of patients and to document, et cetera. So again, that's being led by Dennis. Dennis, our new IT chief, working with Dr. Berger, Dr. Youssef, Dr. Rahman. I don't know if Dr. Rahman's here. Is Dr. Rahman here? He's not here, but tell him I gave him a shout out. Again, we're working on this. This is something Dr. Berger and I talk about in the team, so this is not something that's going to fall off our radar. Now, the hospital update, I won't go through all this, but again, you heard from Dr. Youssef, the mission, values, et cetera, of University Hospital at Downstate, the We Care. I love this. When they first presented it to me, I said, yes, do this, because this, again, is what we aspire to in terms of our patient care. We're on a high reliability organization journey, and we began this journey to improve patient care, quality, patient experience. We're focused on leadership development in the hospital, developing medical staff, nursing, other services leadership. We're having daily hospital huddles, standardized huddle boards for each unit. So again, these little things you can do to move the needle in terms of quality within a hospital. This is one of these, this is what a daily huddle board looks like, right, David? And so every unit you can walk on, you can see this now, right? And it's right there. So it kind of level sets you on a daily basis in terms of what we have to do to take care of our patients. Safety, quality, communication, et cetera. And again, and when things go well, you give the kudos. One thing's, you know, I've told Dr. Berger and his team, we're going to find more ways to you know, give you an attaboy, attagirl, beyond just buying you pizza. You know, we got to do more than that, or buying you lunch. So we're going to work on that. But again, this is what we want to do in terms of layering in some of these processes to improve life. Here's the huddle boards in action. These are wonderful pictures of our great caregivers at the hospital, really embracing the quality initiative that I've charged Dr. Berger and his team to implement at the hospital. So we're making tremendous progress. I get this question, what's your vacancy rate, Riley? Well, our vacancy rate, as you can see, you know, it's been about 20%. But look, there's places around the country where it's 26%. So we're not too bad. Nursing is still going to have, for the rest of our lives, there's always going to be a churn in nursing because there's just not enough nurses in the country. And the changing sort of way that nurses' work life are going to be managed over the next 5 to 10 years is really going to engender some changes. Technology may be right, Dean, in terms of how technology can alleviate some of the burden on nurses, et cetera, et cetera. So again, this is not bad. I'm very pleased with this. You know, you want it closer to zero, but in healthcare institutions, you're never going to get your turnover rate to zero. That's impossible. It's almost impossible to get it to 10%. So again, we pay a lot of attention to this in terms of where we are with our staff. In terms of quality improvement, there's an organization we're a member of called Vizient, and where they sort of compare us to other hospitals in terms of percentile rank, in terms of safety issues. We're not doing too bad. Our harmful events per 1,000 discharges are on a downward slope. This is progress, you know, and again, no institution is perfect. I can assure you that Weill Cornell, New York Presbyterian, NYU Langone, none of them are perfect. But remember, perfection is not our goal, colleagues. It's excellence and be it better day by day. And so I'm very gratified where we are there. A great success. Where's Dr. Rashawn? Is she here? I don't think she's here, but we recruited a terrific, oh, there you are, back there. Stand up, Dr. Rashawn. Yeah, there you are. Dr. Rashawn is our chief of transplant. We recruited her from Hartford. She has done, is this old now? 88 transplants since she got here. That's more than we've done in the past, what, 10 years? That is fantastic. And look, these are our people in our community who would not have gotten transplants, kidneys, but for the work that she's doing with her outstanding transplant team. This is the way you take care of our community. So look, you know, 88 and moving. We've evaluated almost close to 360 candidates, living donor candidates referred, living donor candidates evaluated, living donor transplant cases scheduled. That's, you know, living donor transplant was, you know, the cousin, brother, sister donates a kidney to you. We're doing mostly cadaveric right now, but we want to add the living donor part, which is the toughest part in terms of the rigor and so forth, but we are doing gangbusters thanks to Dr. Rashawn. So again, this is an important program. I charged Dr. Berger to get back up and running when I had to shut it down because of poor quality a few years back. And I said, I will not tolerate poor quality of care for the patients of Central Brooklyn. And there's some people sitting home today that didn't follow my dictum. Again, very pleased with this. The graft survival is excellent. Median length of stay is 5 days for your transplant. Again, that's good quality care. So again, this is what we do, colleagues, is do stuff to change people's lives. And just getting a new kidney to a young man or woman who's been going to dialysis is just life-changing. So again, this is important. I'm very proud of this progress here. Congratulations. In terms of other things, this is surgeries. David, help me out here. Yeah, go
in
ahead.
terms of discharges, because more and more things are being done outpatient, but if you look at the outpatient OR volumes at the main OR in Bay Ridge, you see that there is an increase this year. So even though there's a decrease in the number of people in the hospital, there's an increase in the surgeries and the procedures.
Great. And again, this is the churn that's happening in healthcare is we know that more and more stuff is going to be done outside the hospital. And, you know, the American Hospital Association, Dave and I go to these meetings where they say we have to redefine the H in AHA. You know, people don't want to go to nursing homes. They want to, you know, be taken care of at home now because of the pandemic, because of the horrible situation happening in nursing homes. And people only want to be in the hospital for a very short period of time, which is probably a good thing in terms of a lot of things. So this is these are the sort of the turbulence that we deal with to try to manage through the changing dynamics in hospital and medical care. But again, we track all of this on a weekly, daily, monthly, yearly basis. One of the other things I charged then Ms. Winston when she was head of the hospital, then of course assisted by Dr. Berger when he arrived, said, why don't we have a pharmacy here? I've never practiced in a hospital where we didn't have a pharmacy, where when the patient leaves the hospital, they left with their medicines. So we got it done. It's the State University of New York Pharmacy. I don't know why we call it that, but I think we had put it like that in the application, right? Is that right, David? Yeah. Is there any way to change that name to Downstate Health Pharmacy? But I'll let you work on that. But it's here, and you can use it too. If you have prescriptions, you can have your prescriptions done here on site, so you don't have to, you know, go to CVS, Walgreens. We want it as a convenience for faculty, staff, and students as well. So it's right outside the back door of the hospital. And again, it'll help bridge the gap between patients and physicians to improve their accountability, hopefully reduce hospital readmissions, because one thing we know, you know, you can discharge a patient today and they don't get their medicines, they're going to be back here Friday night. And so to the extent that we can get those medicines to them before they leave to prevent that hospital. Pat Winston, stand up. You're hiding. Why are you hiding from me? I called your name and you didn't even wave at me. So no, Dr. Winston, thank you for your leadership of getting this up, because this was something, again, I just thought was long overdue. And again, it provides additional revenue to the hospital. So this is the way the prescription count has gone. It's going, it's moving. The revenue, so the first month we opened was February 2022. We only made, what, 20,000, right, David? And now projected September was closing on $1 million. Not bad. So again, with more to come, because we want to get some 340B revenue, which is, again, a complicated federal program that favors hospitals like ours in terms of drug reimbursement. So again, helps the bottom line, but more importantly, helps patients and us. This is the way it looks. I took a tour. It looks beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And again, this provides valued service to patients. It reduces 30-day admissions, et cetera. We have great pharmacy staff there. We're moving it to try to get it to specialty accreditation and get some of that 340B revenue. All right, the bad news. All right, everybody take a deep breath. Practice your yoga, your mindfulness. My hair's gotten grayer over this. We are losing this, and this is the story. How should I state this? There was once a governor of New York who's not the current governor of New York, who decided in consultation with some of the political leadership of Brooklyn that they saw this building and they said, hey, wouldn't that be nice to build affordable housing? And I didn't know about this until one day I get a call from somebody, and they said, oh, Dr. Riley, we're so happy that you're going to be building affordable housing. And I said, well, what are you talking about? I'm not building affordable housing. I want to build student housing. Little more investigation. I then called then Chairman McCall of the SUNY board. He didn't know anything about it. I called the then chancellor. She didn't know anything about it. So, friends, this is what happens in politics. Sometimes deals are cut around you and behind you that you don't know about. This is what happened with this. So the former governor had committed to build affordable housing on this parcel of land, which belongs to the Downstate Foundation. We're losing all of this, all of it. And it's painful because we will lose it sometime in the spring of 2023. I've kept pushing it further as fast as I can. We're going to lose 196 parking spots. We're going to lose storage for some of our equipment, vehicles, et cetera. The state in the New York State Department of Housing and Community Renewal has chosen a developer. It's Canva. Canva is supposedly a very highly regarded affordable housing developer here in Brooklyn. But, you know, again, Chairman McCall and I went to see the governor's #2 guy, and he kind of blew us off and said, you know, and I kept complaining and, you know, trying to throw every kind of roadblock I could in this until Chairman McCall said, Riley, we lost the battle. But what we did get is $78 million. So first we got an appraisal. The appraisal, Rich, how much was the appraisal? Like around 80-ish, like $80 million. And of course, I wanted $80 million. Well, you know, the state will never give you full value. So they're giving us 78. They're going to pay off the mortgage. There's a small mortgage on the property, 3.5. That's the other thing. They tried to stiff us with the mortgage, and I said, oh, hell no. You're going to pay the mortgage. So they're going to pay the mortgage. But we're going to get $78 million to build a university center. So this is the way, you know, it happens in state government and politics. This is something I did not want, colleagues, but it was foisted upon us, and my job is to make lemonade out of lemons. So the fact that we're going to get almost $80 million to build a new building is helpful. But in the meantime, it's going to create havoc in terms of parking. So right now we have, Heidi help me out, 906 monthly parkers. The capacity, I'm sorry, 828, right? Yeah, you want to walk us through that?
Yeah, we have 828 monthly customers right now, but on an average day, only about 409 of them are parking because people are not here every day.
Right.
But the 329 capacity is 196 spots, so we are losing that. And those, for those of you who park, you should have gotten a survey that we're doing now so that people can give us their priorities. We have a process for assigning parking that involves your seniority as a parker at Downstate. And so when the 329 Clarkson garage closes, there will be some shuffling of people into new spots, not necessarily only the people from 329 Clarkson, but also other people making room. That said, we do believe that we can accommodate everyone when that garage closes because the daily usage is, fluctuates enough so that we think there'll be space.
Okay. So again, we're going to continue to look for excess parking capacity as needed based on demand, right? We do have a relationship with a valet service that parks over at Kings County's extra spaces. So we're going to do as much as we can to alleviate this. But again, unpleasant, but it's just a fact of life, and we'll manage through it as a community. The other thing, in terms of the future growth of Downstate, I have been on a tear to buy any piece of property close to our campus. And when I say buy it, I don't buy it with state money, I buy it with foundation money. And so we've been very successful in buying some of these older homes very close to campus. This home, for example, how much was that, Rich? 2 million? Yeah, 2 million for that. Because the homeowners know 2 million for that. Because if you look at what's happening in the neighborhood, the developers are buying those up and building high-rises, right? So my theory is let's try to get as many of these as we can for us. I bought these, as you know, we tore them down. And this is the Esposito lot, we bought that. That piece of property was, first it was 12 million, then 18 million, right, Rich? So, yeah, I think it's all in, it's like 22 million we spent on this. But again, if we don't buy it, somebody else will. And that's why I have been aggressive. Now, this is the newest one we bought right here? Or we're trying to get this one? This one. We bought this one. We're trying to get this one now, right? Yeah, okay. So again, anything close to campus, we're trying to get for future use. This actually belongs to the psychiatry department. We're trying to get that too. It's right across from here. It hasn't been used much, but we think it could be used, for example, for employee health service. I do not like our employee health service now. I do not like our student health service. I don't like our counseling health service. So if we can get some of these parcels, we can move some of these key functions into better space. We also lease some properties. We lease that lot right now. We lease the old Duane Reade, and I think we're going to get another lease out of them, right? Where we put safety and security, which I think has been great. I wanted to buy it, but you got Carlos and Lee. Are you involved in that? Or Tim is the lease? Yeah. How many years will they give us? Do you think? 5? Okay, we'll take 5. You know, I wanted 10. You know, we got to do 5s. You know, but again, I think it's great having security there because it's the presence. Particularly when it gets dark on Monday, having our folks out there with the light going and you know, patrolling. So again, it's a safety thing, and it's a nice visibility thing for our safety and security. We also lease some space at the bottom of this. It's been a problem with the developer. They keep going in and out of business, as I understand. So we're going to try to clean this up. So what are we going to do with that, Riley? Well, this is the concept. We're going to build some residential units. We're calling it A and B, or Lennox A and B. This is conceptual. When I say we, that's the foundation, not the state. We'll build this for students and faculty, staff, et cetera. And again, that will help, you know, create a more livable environment. Now, the big project is Project Phoenix. This is where we are now, right here, and this is Project Phoenix. This is the space that a governor took from us. This here is where we're going to put Project Phoenix. Right, James? Did I get that right? As David said, we need a better front door for our clinicians. You know, a better place for them to practice and take care of patients. So we think this project will increase outpatient revenues, downstream inpatient revenues. It'll be a mixed-use development. We'll have some retail at the bottom, maybe Starbucks, banking, cleaners. We've been talking to the YMCA to see if they would put a branch there, right? We're going to try to improve the community with this project. So we're working through all of it. It requires no state money because it'll be done on the foundation's balance sheet. These are the pretty pictures. These are conceptual. You know, we're not, this right here is where they park the garbage trucks. We'd love to get rid of that. Oh, the other side, this way. I'm sorry. This is Kings County here. This is where the garbage trucks are. So thank you guys. I get confused every time you guys. But the garbage trucks are here. We're going to see if we can move that. It will be a process. But this right here is the ambulatory care center, right? And then this is the housing. So we want to build, what, 600 units of market rate housing. This will be first come, first serve for you, faculty, staff, anybody who wants to live close to work. It'd be really nice, high-quality apartment homes for families and residents, anybody. So it won't be limited to students, won't be limited to residents. It could be faculty, staff, anybody who wants to be in this development, we will have it. This is the way we hope it looks. We want to create some community space here. This preliminary, this is still moving target, but we want to do some cancer therapy, infusion, Women's Health Institute, ambulatory surgery center, a pre-op area, PACU, a procedure suite for endoscopy, cystoscopy, minor procedures, urgent care. We want to partner with an urgent care organization to put urgent care in the building, interventional cardiology, imaging, a lobby that can be used by community groups for their parties and receptions. And again, so we're really working hard on this very transformative project for Downstate. Now, again, part of my role is to be a fierce advocate for downstate, and I take that very seriously. And we have had a number of elected officials. This is the new borough president of Brooklyn, Borough President Reynoso, who rode his bike here to meet with me. And I was getting on the borough president because he wasn't wearing a helmet on his bike. And I was saying, dude, you just got elected. You got small children. You can't ride in Brooklyn without a helmet? I was all over him. One night, Alicia, he said, oh, Dr. Hag, I'm going to get my helmet. So no, but he's a fine young man who is now our borough president. So he was here. We gave him a tour. He's very interested in maternal and child health. So again, we look forward to working with him. This guy could be mayor of New York in 10 years. I mean, he's an impressive young man who really, serves the community and ran for office for the right reasons. So we had the borough president here. We had Councilmember Rita Joseph, again, passionate about health care. We had New York Assembly member Monique Chandler Waterman, again, replacing Ambassador Perry. Ambassador Nick Perry is now the ambassador to Jamaica, but Monique Chandler Waterman succeeded Mr. Perry. 3 weeks ago, we had the Honorable New York State Health Commissioner, Dr. Mary Bassett, here to announce a great program along with Dean Bruno Cardi to increase the number of minority students in New York. So again, outreach is important to me. And this one I got in trouble with my friends in Albany. They didn't like the headline, but that's my job for it. That's my job, to be a fierce advocate for downstate. And again, the state, in my view, has not, stepped up to make us whole when we were COVID only. And so I'm all over this. But just to be clear, since this article came out, David helped me out, we got $75 more million out of state, right? 100? Was it 100 million? Okay. I'll take the heat for 100 million. Yeah. So again, that's my role, to be an advocate for our community, for you, for our patients, our community, our hospitals. So very proud of that work. All right, questions. It's 4:45. I'm sensitive to commute times, but I can stay as long as you want for questions. Thank you very much. Any questions? Remember I said I always like rumors. I always love rumors. Yes? Jackie, I'm sorry. Oh, parking facilities. Yeah. Heidi, you want to take that in terms of, what the question is, what other parking capacity could we access for the benefit of our community? Would that be a way to paraphrase it? Yeah.
So right now we have a number of locations. We still have the beneficial lot, 324 Winthrop. We have 2 locations, 2 Kings County locations. One is their indoor garage, 581 Clarkson, and also their 600 Albany Avenue. We continue to have, at least until we develop those locations, 355 Lenox Road, and the 225 Clarkson that's leased. So those spaces are all still available. And at the moment, we've accommodated, when I first came, we had a very long waiting list for parking. We no longer do. We pretty much have accommodated people who've wanted to park, and we think that we can do that. Certainly, when the 329 Clarkson garage goes, we think we will still be able to accommodate the existing need. As we move into the other developments and with other facilities going away, we're continuing to look for other options. But right now, we think that what we've asked people to do who currently park is to fill out a survey and let us know which their preferences are among the facilities we have, and we try to accommodate them as much as we can. So that's where we are right now.
I have one more question. So, first I received an email saying from Downstate Survey that HR does not have me in their filing system. I have been parking since 2008 with a handicap parking permit. So I called HR, and I was told that, well, they'll try to find a spot for me. Okay? I have been here working at Downstate for 30 years. I took a short hiatus and came back in 2008. Okay? Today, I get another email about parking.
Yeah, let us.
Okay, so why don't we talk after?
Yeah,
or
let us-
you-
yeah.
You can
We'll
email
do
me
that.
directly, or we'll speak right after
Right.
this, and I'll see what I can do to follow
Yeah,
up.
please visit with either Heidi or Lori.
Yeah, and
after.
we'll
Yeah,
certainly
see if we
follow
can
up on
sort
what
that
the
out
issue
for you.
is. Absolutely.
Now, you know, you just jogged my memory. Remember the $78 million I got because they took away our foundation parking garage? My first proposal to the governor's people was, well, let me use that money to build a new parking garage. And they said, no, the state doesn't build parking garages anymore. When did the state get out of building parking garages, Rich? In the 70s or the 80s?
Mid-90s.
Yeah, so there's nobody, nowhere in the state of New York do they use state dollars to build parking garages anymore. And remember, the old one that needs to come down, that was built in 1961, 62. So again, I tried, and they said, nope, New York, you can't spend a nickel of taxpayer money to build a garage. So, yeah. Yes? I'm sorry, say that again?
After the current EMR upgrade, is there a timeline after that for Epic?
Oh, well, Epic, we're still in the, let's put it this way, you know, Christmas is coming, right? And remember when we were younger, your mother used to say, write out your Christmas list? That's kind of the stage where we are with Epic. Epic is #1 on our Christmas list. So it's not certain, but we are working all the political angles, and Dr. Berger's shaking his head, trying to figure out how we can do this. I'm not promising, but it's on the list. But the point is, we need a new EHR. Now again, Epic would be seamless because Kings County, but Northwell uses Allscripts, and Maimonides uses Allscripts, and who uses Cerner or Meditech? Anybody out in New York? Stony Brook. So that's the conversation we're having. Upstate uses Epic, so we even tried to see if we could piggyback on Upstate's contract. I said, nope, you can't do that. So we're trying every kind of angle here to get a new EHR. So I can just remember as a kid when my mother told me right at the Christmas list, I didn't put, I want a Schwinn bike. Y'all know what Schwinn? I want a new bike. So the brand to be determined, let's put it that way. Right. What else? Yes, Dr. Biss.
Are there what sort of academic research relationship with Brooklyn College? Are there any plans to strengthen that?
Oh, the question is, what is our research relationship with Brooklyn College? Let me tell you, I'll take it and then hand off. I went to see the president of Brooklyn College, Dr. Anderson, terrific president. So we've started a dialogue. Dr. Imperato has continued dialogue. They came to us when they put in an NIH application for a cancer center, I think. I don't know if it was ever funded, but we supported that. But you've had continued discussions with Brooklyn College folks, right? Yeah. And remember, we get a great crop of students from Brooklyn College, right? I think that's our is that our #1 basket of students? Jeffrey? 1 or 2?
It's 1 or 2 every
We get
year,
a
yeah.
lot of great students from Brooklyn College.
There are a lot of opportunities. Some of them were started by Dean Stewart. There's a number of relationships ongoing with students with Brooklyn College. There are recent activities that involve the College of Medicine. Dr. Marcus Lambert, who we heard about earlier, is really our lead in something called the Brooklyn College Cancer Consortium that we are working to. It's a sort of a fledgling development on their end, and they see us as a key partner. So I think we're always looking for new opportunities. And I think, in the graduate school, I'm an interim dean, where we see recruitment opportunities in all of the Brooklyn, the CUNY campuses, the SUNY campuses that are around the country. We know that a lot of undergraduates from New York City go off and go to Buffalo or Oswego or wherever, and many of them want to come back for their medical school or their graduate school. So Brooklyn College is one example of someplace we really want to make sure we nurture the partnership.
Yeah, love Brooklyn College. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you, colleagues. You've been most generous with your time. We're almost there at Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. Let's have a great 2023 as well. Thank you very much.
Riley, can I get a picture with the impact team?
Oh, yeah. Bring that up. Hey, Isaiah, move that over here. The impact banner. Yeah. Hey, John.